Aboriginals.
We're in talk mode, and today we're reviewing our first book. I think this might be part of a new series that I do, but we'll see how it goes. So, we're reviewing a book by TJ Newman. This is her debut book, um, and yeah, it's called Falling. Pretty good book, pretty good book. So let me give you a little bit of insight on the book itself. So just reading the blurb, it has a quote at the top saying, "I'm not going to crash this plane, and you are not going to kill my family." You just boarded a flight to New York. There are 143 other passengers on board. What you don't know is that 30 minutes before the flight, your pilot's family was kidnapped. For his family to live, everyone on your plane must die. The only way the family will survive is if the pilot follows his orders and crashes the plane. Enjoy the flight. It's a pretty compelling blurb, and from the blurb you can tell that it's about a hijacked plane. Apparently, it's an international bestseller according to the cover, and had some great quotes from some authors that I really do enjoy, like James Patterson saying non-stop, totally authentic suspense, and then Ian Rankin saying this is speed on a passenger jet where the cockpit dials are turned up to supersonic. And I, you know what? I agree. It's a pretty great book. And what I think helps with this particular book is that the author, TJ Newman, is a former flight attendant. So it's been written with a degree of experience. Not that it's a true story or anything, but like just the way you describe the characters. There's a flight crew, obviously, that are part of the character cast, and the way they're described and the functions that they are fulfilling on the plane are described in a way that seems accurate, and you would expect to be accurate because she is a flight attendant. The book itself, for me, so I'll be honest, I read about half of this book at in the middle of last year, and only started finishing it to the tail end of last year. And for me, that happens sometimes when I'm reading. If I get distracted, I can put a book down. But there are some books where you're just like, oh, it's a complete page turner. You can't stop reading, and this isn't one of them. But it's really close to being there, because when I started reading it the second time and started reading the second half of the book, I immediately fell straight back into the story, and then I couldn't put it down, and I actually finished it within a couple of days. So, great book. It is 357 pages. Um, Obviously about a plane hijacking. I won't spoil anything regarding the actual story or how it plays out. But there's some really interesting themes that are explored in the book that I think I can't say for sure that I've seen in any other book that I've read. And I read quite a few books where you know, a kind of thriller, action, sort of situation where there's like normally a bad guy who's trying to do something bad. In this case, hijack a plane and get it to crash. Um, and most of the time, you know, they're just painted as bad guys, and that's that. This one obviously paints them as bad guys because of what they're trying to attempt, but it also explores their reasoning for doing what they're doing, and the way it's written does make you think and sympathize with what they've experienced and what's turned them to this misguided attempt for some sort of justice or whatever you want to call it. And it's quite interesting the way it's put across. Again, I'm trying not to spoil anything, which is why I'm like stuttering on my words. But yeah, it's a really interesting read. There are parts of it that I really enjoyed. Like I enjoyed the book as a whole, but there are parts of it that really made you think about your actions in your life and when you see things on the news and how you react to them and those kind of things. So I think it was a pretty cool book. For me, I am now setting up a little bit of a scale of review. It's my first book review, so I don't know what is required or what's important. But for me, I'm gonna set a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest. Now, a 5 for me would be something I just can't put down. And the fact that I was able to put this book down and leave it for like 6 months and then come back to it, I'm gonna give this book a 4. I think it's better than good, but it's not quite there to be completely amazing. Where I just can't put it down, and that might just be the genre, the fact that it deals with quite a few thought-provoking and maybe slightly stressful or negative or aspects of life. So maybe that's the reason I couldn't put it down. I could put it down, sorry. But I think it's a great book and certainly one you should check out if you're into thrillers. I think that's it for me. Um, I would say, like I said, it's my first book review. So if there are other things that you would like to know about a book, I can make sure to enter them on my next book review. Thank you guys very much for listening. For any suggestions, please contact me at Wahab Originals on Twitter or Instagram. Take care, guys. Goodbye.